Marisa Roerig. I work for Michigan Tech University.
I'm Matt Portfleet, also work for Michigan Tech University.
We did our CMSP last year. We came to the conference early. We did a 3-day review course, and then we sat for the test. It was very challenging, but fun at the same time. I think we bonded with our group that we did the training with, and then the test, although it was challenging, it kind of was exciting, and we had to wait, 6 weeks to get results. But that was kind of a fun process too, to see what we got back and then get feedback as well in the different categories, how we scored. And yeah, it was an overall really good experience.
The instructors were really good. The gentleman who helped us with the pre-test for 3 days was really helpful. I think it had a good baseline knowledge for the test. And then the test itself, to be honest, was different than I expected, maybe a little harder than I expected. But I think that's good. It's good to be challenged, and I was very pleased with the whole experience.
We met a lot of people too.
Yeah, we did.
We met people from all over the country, all different roles too. Surface, undergrounding specifics, different safety directors.
A lot of people that
we were on the education side.
Yeah, education side, mining directors, HR people,
engineers too.
Yeah.
It was just a great group of people.
I would say if you have a good background knowledge, the mining part is easy. I think the review course covers a lot of other details, like the human factor in safety, which I think a lot of times is a very overlooked whole genre of topics that people don't think about. And the test was very, focused a lot of times on how people react to training, how people respond to different types of interaction with employees, trainers, that type of thing. It's a really important part of training. I think it's a great section of the test.
And it was CMSP, they give you a body of knowledge, which was 200,000
some tens of thousands of pages.
So it's very overwhelming or a little bit intimidating, but our instructor kind of walked us through each subject section, and I learned just so much from that 3 days. So
even if you took the 3-day review without the exam, that was still very
hugely
useful.
beneficial for what we do.
We deal with the training side exclusively, and I think I see a lot of, just even talking to other trainees that we're training, a lot of very bad trainers out there. Not to be judgmental, to say there's a lot of very poorly organized classes, a lot of very poorly run programs. But I think this whole process kind of opens your eyes to be like, there's a lot better ways to do things. And really need for it to keep the industry safe and to communicate effectively to everybody in the industry.
And it wasn't just your typical safety topics like confined space or ventilation. There was that broad scope of knowledge and the human side of it, which is really what motivates an individual to learn. I
think it's the safety culture.
The safety culture part was huge.
See that word, but that safety culture of mindset and how to create that mindset within your business or your workplace and keep that part of the training. It's a huge.
And how you have to sometimes in certain companies shift culture.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think our instructor, he was really good at communicating that and giving us some great information. Resource and book list that we could go back and read to later. It was a mind shifter. It took you to a new level. I think it set a standard, which I was really happy to be a part of and to meet, to pass. That was good.
Even though you beat me.
I did beat you.
Yeah, she beat me.
By a couple %. Let it be known.
I think the CMSP more recently is a huge benefit of that. I was really happy. I tried for a while to get with the old CMSP program that kind of went defunct to go through that. It disappeared. But I think when I was really excited to see that CMSP get picked up by SME and be part of that organization. So maybe I'm biased because I'm a safety trainer, but that was a huge bonus to me.
It was a huge bonus. What else do we like about SME? Walking around today was just great again to see a bunch of different people, some familiar faces. The technical sessions are vast. You have to pick some that we like to see.
Sometimes very technical.
Very technical. But as far as being a member, I get updates weekly via email, access to new video content, which I watch not only to better myself as a trainer, but to bring to class at times. And the magazine. I like to get the magazine.
Recent technology is making training much more interactive, much more realistic, much more personal in a lot of ways. The other thing I see too is really we need to focus the industry more on that human factor again of getting the training to people that can understand it, especially as you get new generation of miners in there that are on their cell phones all the time. Sitting in a class and watching a video is not always the best training. They need something else to be interactive.
Well, they need more exposure.
Yeah.
We're going to be bringing in People complain about millennials all the time, but I like to remind us, or people, that we're now in our mid-30s and we're working, so it's not us anymore. It's what, Gen Z? The next generation coming in, they're very young, and the training's gonna have to shift.
It is.
I can't just be sitting in front of the computer or the TV watching a 1998 training video.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be more hands-on. We're gonna have to take way more time with task training, in my opinion. Slow it down, be more thorough, do a better evaluation process. Does this person understand what I've taught them? Can they do the job the way I've taught them? Will they do it safely? And then more follow-up. Task training is gonna be,
Huge.
there's gonna have to be a big shift in that.
And I think in task train also, not only the younger generation, but the old school miners who are the old diesel mechanics that are just wrenching. I mean, great miners, great mechanics, great people. But
wealth of knowledge.
Wealth of knowledge, but as you get machinery, I mean, the last Mine Expo, half the expo was like electric battery powered equipment. And those guys need entirely new task trains to deal with stuff they've never dealt with in their life. I mean, and those are excellent
more
employees.
technical.
And they'll be great employees once they get trained in, but they have to have a lot of training in new technologies, even computer interface, earpiece equipment. You can't work on something.
We talked about that in our review course.
Yeah.
Will experienced, can we say older generation? The seasoned generation, will they take the time and will they be willing to share their knowledge with the new incoming generation? Because we have to bridge that,
and will
that
they
gap.
respect the young generation sharing their computer skills to the new mechanics out there, the new miners, the new haul truck drivers?
Who are bringing a different skill set into the workplace.